What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're driving this beautiful F90 M5 competition. This vehicle has 850 horsepower. And before I even start this drive, let me start by saying this car genuinely drives like no other car I've ever driven. It's brutally fast, but that aside, it handles incredibly, sounds amazing. You can see the front mount intakes. I mean, this spec is just absolutely beautiful. The car's dirty right now because it's the winter over here in Canada. But all I can say, honestly, coming from an RS7, you have to drive it to experience it. Anyways, I'm running late to the office right now, so I better get going. I'm about 15 minutes late right now, so we're gonna have to shave off a bit of time. Now, if you guys are in or around the Greater Toronto area, you can actually drive this car today as you're watching this. Man, this thing sounds insane. Check out the link in my description. You can drive this 800 horsepower beast today. I genuinely can't explain how this drives. I mean, every other reviewer says the same thing. It sounds like I'm just echoing them.
Against anything, it's unbeatable. It's the fastest sedan ever produced. It's unbeatable. It's insane.
Thank you again to our friends over at YYZ Rentals for lending us this M5. As you can see right here, we got our sport displays set, a whopping 800 horsepower. It's actually 850, but it only shows the 800. Now, I actually really like this feature because it's really rare that these sport displays show the updated horsepower. They usually will just stay at 600. Anyways, as I said, I'm about 15 minutes behind, so I got to shave off some time. Let's get this car in M1 and let's get this on the road. It's in manual mode as well. This car drives like a jet. All you can hear is straight turbo noise and it sounds wonderful. I'm not complaining at all. This car's equipped with front mount intakes and a downpipe as well. And I feel like the exhaust was done to the point where it's not too much or too little. It has a good amount of sound, but not so much where you're constantly worried about getting pulled over. And these shifts are just lightning fast. As you can see, this right here, this adjusts the aggressiveness of the shifts. So we have it on max right now in M1 mode. And honestly, it's perfect for me. A lot of people complain about it being too aggressive. I think it's absolutely perfect. I mean, when you're in an M5, you want things to be aggressive. This road's a bit bumpy, so let's put it in comfort mode for a second here. I can feel everything relaxing, and it's barely bumpy at all. As you can see, the camera's barely shaking. It's handling this road really, really well. Alright, we can finally get onto some open roads and see what this car can do, hear what it sounds like. Let's get it back into M1. Let's get some downshifts. Yeah, like that's 3,000 RPMs it's starting that loud. Oh, jeez. And of course we have MX drive, so it hooks up very, very well. I mean, when can you ever drive an 850 horsepower car in these conditions and expect to hook up? Yeah, like it gets loud when it needs to get loud. When you're driving regularly, there's no drone. It won't give you headaches or anything like my RS7 does, honestly speaking. But when you really step on it and when you want to get that sound out of it, you definitely can. It's a really, really beautiful sound. In my last video, I also talked about how this has a very different sound than something like an RS7 or an E63S. And it definitely does. This has a lot more of a high-pitched, almost like a jet engine sound, which is actually really, really nice. Approaching a bit of a twisty area right here. It's no problem. I can just put the dampers into Sport Plus. And this car handles way, way better than I thought it would, with it being so heavy, of course. I mean, you can see these are some pretty tight bends, and especially downhill can be very difficult for a car like this. Another thing I'd like to mention, this car does this all in really, really good comfort. I mean, these seats are extremely plush. The interior is extremely luxurious and the quality is really good. A lot of people say BMW is just way too aggressive, way too sporty. It lacks the luxury that companies like Mercedes and Audi have, but it's actually not true. And I was one of those people who thought that too, because I've driven an M3, I've driven those types of cars, but they don't have nearly as much comfort as a car like this, for example. This is one of the very few vehicles that makes me drive with two hands. All right, we're getting decently close to the city now. If you want to drive this car, I would recommend for the Greater Toronto Area roads to keep it in comfort damper settings. It's honestly such a lifesaver on these roads, considering how bumpy these are. I mean, you can feel it. It's impossible if I were to only have a hard setting. I'm in quite a bit of traffic right now, but I'll see you guys as soon as I get to the highway and we'll go for a blast. All right, gentlemen, we've got 10 minutes to shave off of our ETA, so let's do it. Heading the highway now. Let's go M1 mode. Everything's in its Sport Plus setting. Now, believe it or not, the 401 is actually the busiest highway in the world. So let's see what we can do. We got a tunnel coming up, you know what that means. All right, looks like we did it. We're about 2 minutes away from the office now. All right, we made it on time. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton, or liking the video. Once again, thank you to YYZ Rentals for lending me this beautiful M5 with its whopping 850 horsepower. Each and every one of you can drive it, so I encourage all of you, drive it today, drive it as soon as you can. Go to the link in my bio and test this car out for yourself. They offer extremely fair pricing and they're wonderful to deal with. Anyways guys, until the next video, take care and drive safe.